6 months from now, some of the most iconic pickups will vanish, and no one's warning you.
Uncommon right now to find somebody who has paid maybe $60,000 or $65,000 for a very high-end pickup truck. Well, even the average pickup truck now is going to be crossing over that $50,000 barrier.
These trucks weren't supposed to fail. They were legends, selling millions, trusted for decades. But now, they sit abandoned on lots, marked down, forgotten. And when they go, they'll take more than just horsepower with them. They'll take a piece of America's backbone. How did the giants fall so fast? Who really benefits from their disappearance? And what does it mean for the truck you drive right now? Ford F-150. For nearly 5 decades straight, no vehicle in the United States has carried the same weight in both sales charts and cultural symbolism as the Ford F-150. This truck is not just transportation. It has long been a rite of passage, a badge of honor, and a trusted companion for work, hunting trips, and family hauling alike. Yet today, the king of pickups is quietly showing cracks in the armor. What once looked untouchable now faces slowing sales, bloated prices, and a growing sense that Ford may have stretched the golden goose too far. The situation is not yet catastrophic, but the warning signs are piling up in a way the company can no longer ignore. The F-150 lineup has become staggeringly complex, offering 6 separate engines, more than 10 trims, and countless packages. For consumers, that means more confusion and fewer simple choices. For dealers, it means higher costs as they carry dozens of slow-moving configurations. Even longtime Ford loyalists are admitting that navigating the modern F-150 order guide feels like wading through a maze rather than buying a straightforward workhorse. Complexity has eroded the sense of rugged simplicity that built the truck's legacy. Another issue is the cost of entry. In the early 2010s, a base F-150 could be bought for just above $20,000. Today, the base XL model starts at $36,770 before any extras, and high-end limited or platinum trims routinely climb past $80,000. That price escalation has far outpaced wage growth, leaving many working-class buyers priced out of the market. Trucks that once symbolized accessibility for everyday Americans now resemble luxury vehicles disguised in steel and chrome. Adding to these pressures are slipping dependability ratings. Surveys from industry trackers such as Consumer Reports and J.D. Power show declining reliability scores for recent F-150 generations. Buyers worry that too many untested technologies, from Blue Cruise hands-free driving to ProPower onboard electrical systems, are introducing problems that older, simpler trucks never faced. For a nameplate built on durability, these reports cut deep. The mighty Ford F-150 may not disappear overnight, but its stumble reminds us that even legends can lose their footing. And if America's reigning champion is wobbling, just imagine what happens when an outsider that never fully belonged steps onto the stage. If you're hooked on this list so far, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment with the truck you think won't survive. Honda Ridgeline. From the moment it first appeared in the mid-2000 decade, the Honda Ridgeline has stood apart as the oddball of the American truck scene. Unlike every other pickup on the road, it was not built on a rugged body-on-frame design, but rather a unibody structure shared with the Honda Pilot sport utility vehicle. That decision gave the Ridgeline smoother handling, a comfortable ride, and family-friendly manners. But it also separated it from the tough, hard-edged image that traditional truck buyers crave. For years, enthusiasts dismissed it with a sneer, saying it was not a real truck. Now, nearly 2 decades later, that outsider reputation is catching up with it in a serious way. Sales numbers tell a story of fading momentum. Back in 2017, the Ridgeline managed around 34,000 units in the United States. Fast forward to 2023, and it recorded only about 47,000 sales, a sharp decline compared to previous expectations in a growing mid-size market. Even worse, the first quarter of 2024 showed another steep drop of more than 20%. Signaling that the slide is accelerating rather than slowing. Dealers report Ridgeline models lingering on lots for over 100 days, while competitors such as the Toyota Tacoma or Ford Ranger turn much faster. That means heavy incentives and cashback offers are now being applied to a Honda product that once prided itself on holding firm to sticker price. On paper, the Ridgeline still brings useful features. Its 3.5-liter six-cylinder engine delivers 280 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. It can tow up to 5,000 pounds, and clever touches such as a dual-action tailgate and an in-bed trunk make it highly practical. Yet perception often outweighs reality in the truck world. For many buyers, rugged appearance and traditional toughness matter more than comfort and convenience. Honda has hinted at prioritizing its crossover sport utility vehicle lineup and electrification strategy rather than developing a next-generation Ridgeline. If that happens, this unique pickup may quietly fade into history. And while the Ridgeline struggles with identity, the next truck on our list faces a far harsher fate, an ambitious foreign challenger that dared to take on Detroit and is now gasping its final breath. Nissan Titan. Back in the early 2000s decade, Nissan shocked the truck world by announcing that it would no longer sit on the sidelines of the American full-size pickup fight. The Nissan Titan was introduced with bold styling, a stout V8 engine, and the promise that Japanese engineering could carve out a piece of Detroit's most profitable market. At first glance, it had the muscle and the features to make believers out of skeptics. Yet after nearly 2 decades of trying, the Titan is running on fumes, and the end is officially on the calendar. Nissan has already confirmed that production will wrap up in the summer of 2024, leaving no successor in the pipeline. The sales picture is grim. In 2017, the Titan managed just over 52,000 units, which was already considered weak compared to rivals. By 2023, it recorded only 19,043 sales across the entire United States. To put that in perspective, Ford sells more F-150 trucks in a single week than Nissan sells Titans in a full year. That kind of disparity shows how completely the Titan failed to earn loyalty in a segment where repeat buyers dominate. Dealer lots tell the same story, with average days to turn climbing above 180, and some trucks sitting for 270 days or more before desperate discounts finally move them. On paper, the Titan still looks competitive. Its 5.6-liter V8 engine makes 400 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque. It can tow up to 9,320 pounds and came with one of the strongest warranties in the industry at 5 years or 100,000 miles. The problem was never raw numbers. It was always identity. Buyers of American pickups want tradition, a sense of belonging to a tribe. Nissan never cracked that cultural code, and the Titan remained an outsider. As the Titan disappears, it will stand as a reminder that even billions in development cannot buy heritage. And if that lesson seems harsh, the next truck proves that even a brand built on legendary dependability can stumble when it strays from its roots. Toyota Tundra. Among all the trucks that dared to challenge the American full-size giants, the Toyota Tundra earned a reputation for being the quiet fighter. It was never the sales leader, yet it built a loyal following thanks to its reputation for reliability and a willingness to go the distance without complaint. For years, owners bragged about Tundras that crossed 300,000 miles with little more than routine maintenance. That legacy of bulletproof dependability carried the model for more than a decade, with only minor changes. But when Toyota finally unveiled a new generation in 2022, the gamble they took may have cost them the very trust that kept the Tundra alive. Instead of keeping the beloved V8 engine, Toyota replaced it with a twin-turbocharged 3.5-liter V6 and a hybrid version known as the iForce Max. On paper, the numbers are impressive: 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque, along with a maximum towing rating of 12,000 pounds. The interior was upgraded with larger screens, better materials, and more advanced driver assistance systems. For many companies, this would look like a home run, yet the reaction from longtime Tundra loyalists was far from celebratory. Buyers who had trusted naturally aspirated engines for decades felt betrayed. Many saw the new powertrains as overly complex, expensive to repair, and unproven over the long haul. Early ownership reports did little to ease those worries, with recalls involving turbocharger wastegate actuators and glitches in the infotainment software. For a brand built on the image of unshakable durability, such problems hit harder than they might for a rival. Meanwhile, pricing crept ever higher. The base SR model now starts at $39,965, while the high-end capstone trim can soar beyond $80,000. At those levels, the Tundra is fighting in the same arena as domestic trucks with far deeper roots in the American market. Sales in 2023 fell by nearly 14% compared to the prior year, and the first quarter of 2024 brought another 6% decline. The once steady fighter is wobbling, and as it stumbles, the stage is set for an even riskier leap into electrification that could either save or sink the next contender. Ford F-150 Lightning. When Ford announced the F-150 Lightning, it was billed as nothing less than a revolution. This was not some quirky experimental electric truck meant for a handful of early adopters. Instead, it carried the name of America's best-selling vehicle for nearly 5 decades, the F-150, and promised to electrify the heart of the truck world. Reservations soared above 200,000 almost immediately. Dealers spoke of waiting lists stretching for months, and it seemed the electric future had finally arrived. Yet only a short time later, the excitement has cooled, and the Lightning finds itself fighting uphill to prove it deserves a place on American driveways. On the performance sheet, the Lightning looks like a monster. The extended range version delivers up to 580 horsepower and 775 pound-feet of torque. It can launch from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 4 seconds. Figures that rival high-end sports cars. Maximum towing capacity reaches 10,000 pounds, and payload approaches 2,000 pounds. Clever features like a front trunk, bi-directional charging that can power a home during outages, and the ability to run job site tools from its massive battery set it apart from every traditional pickup. It has the muscle, the brains, and the innovation to be a game changer. But real-world truck buyers do not purchase vehicles on paper specifications alone. Range anxiety has become the Lightning's greatest enemy. While the Environmental Protection Agency estimates up to 320 miles on a charge, towing even a modest trailer can slash that distance by half. For contractors, campers, and boaters, the idea of constantly hunting for a charger during long hauls is unacceptable. The price story has also soured. Originally marketed at $39,974, the base model now begins at $54,995, with upper trims soaring near $90,000. That sharp increase pushed many working-class buyers out of the conversation. By 2023, sales reached only 20,365 units, far below capacity. Ford has already announced production cuts and delays for the next generation. The Lightning's future is dimming, and waiting just ahead is an even more outrageous machine that proves excess is not always attractive. GMC Hummer EV. Few vehicles have ever attempted to combine brute force, cutting-edge technology, and outrageous style quite like the GMC Hummer electric vehicle pickup. Reviving the infamous Hummer badge in the early 2020s, General Motors promised nothing less than an all-electric supertruck capable of conquering trails while delivering acceleration that could embarrass sports cars. At launch, the headline screamed about 1,000 horsepower, crab-walking diagonal steering, and a body weighing over 9,000 pounds. The marketing campaign positioned it as a statement of dominance, a rolling symbol of excess, meant for those who wanted to be noticed everywhere they went. Yet, as the months rolled by, reality collided with hype, and the Hummer electric vehicle began to look more like a stranded giant than a savior of the brand. The truck's hardware is undeniably impressive. With 3 motors and an enormous 212 kilowatt-hour battery pack, it promises an Environmental Protection Agency estimated range of 329 miles and the ability to charge at 800-volt stations with remarkable speed. Its acceleration from 0 to 60 miles per hour in roughly 3 seconds is faster than many high-performance cars, and the crab walk function allows it to move sideways over obstacles. On paper, this is a marvel of engineering, a toy box on wheels designed for those who demand everything at once. But price and practicality have undermined its appeal. The original Edition 1 trim carried a sticker of $110,295. Even the so-called lower trims, such as the EV2X, begin near $96,550. For that kind of money, buyers expect refinement and comfort, not a truck that rides like a tank and consumes electricity at alarming rates. At more than 9,000 pounds, concerns about tire wear, garage floor stress, and inefficiency have become real barriers. Add in 6-month or longer stays on dealer lots, and the story becomes bleak. Fewer than 4,000 Hummer electric vehicles were sold between late 2021 and early 2024 for a halo product meant to showcase the future that is a disaster. As the Hummer EV stumbles under its own weight, the final entry on our list proves that even legends can stumble when the market shifts beneath their tires. Toyota Tacoma. For decades, no midsize pickup has commanded the kind of loyalty and resale strength that the Toyota Tacoma enjoyed. It became the symbol of reliability, the truck that just kept going long after rivals had worn out, and a machine that blended adventure with everyday practicality. Owners boasted about Tacomas crossing 200,000 miles, even 300,000 miles, without major repairs. In markets from the Pacific Northwest to the deserts of the Southwest, the Tacoma was more than a truck. It was part of an outdoor lifestyle, yet as the calendar flipped to the arrival of the brand new 2024 redesign, the outgoing third-generation model suddenly found itself exposed, showing just how quickly even a legend can lose its shine. Introduced back in 2016, the third-generation Tacoma soldiered on for 8 full model years with relatively few significant updates. While that stability reassured long-term fans, it also left the truck lagging behind newer competitors. Rivals added turbocharged engines, more efficient transmissions, larger cabins, and smoother rides. Meanwhile, the Tacoma still relied on a base 2.7-liter four-cylinder, making 159 horsepower, or a 3.5-liter six-cylinder, producing 278 horsepower. Those numbers were serviceable, but no longer class-leading. Towing maxed out at 6,800 pounds, and payload topped at 1,685 pounds, figures that fell behind the segment's strongest offerings. When Toyota unveiled the completely redesigned 2024 Tacoma with more powerful turbo hybrid options, upgraded interiors, and advanced driver assistance, buyers immediately shifted their attention. The result was brutal for remaining inventory of the outgoing trucks. In late 2023, sales of the third generation collapsed by roughly 42% compared to prior averages. Dealer data showed those once hot-selling Tacomas sitting for 75 days or longer on lots that used to turn them in under 20 days. Incentives that Toyota rarely used had to be introduced, including cashback offers of up to $3,500 just to move outdated stock. The fall of the outgoing Tacoma proves that no reputation is untouchable. Even the most trusted name in mid-size trucks can stumble when it lingers too long without meaningful updates. And as buyers rush toward the future, the third generation fades into memory as a reminder that legends survive only by evolving. The pickup world is changing faster than anyone expected, and today's list proves no truck is truly safe. If you want to stay ahead of these shifts, support the channel by liking this video, sharing your thoughts in the comments, and most importantly, subscribing right now. New insights are coming that you will not want to miss, and the next truck on the chopping block could be closer than you think.